Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone's having a great day so far. It's a nice warm day here in Arkansas, and I thought what we'd do today is change the oil on my pickup. This is a 2006 Silverado with the 5.3 in it. I think it's going to apply to the 4.3, the 4.8, the 5.3, maybe even the 6.0. I'm not 100% sure. But you can use this video as a reference for a 99 through 06 and even the 07 Classic Silverado, Sierra, and Suburban as well. So overall it's a pretty easy job, and the way you actually know it's time to change your oil on this specific model, I'll just show you. Some of them are different. I know the older ones just have a little check center, I want to say over here, that'll tell you whenever it's time to change your oil. But this one here on the dash, once we put it in mode here, we can push through our buttons here. You can see engine oil life is at 5%. I usually try to change it right around the 5 to 10%, so this is the perfect time. And stick around at the end and I'll show you how to reset this as well. Might even make a separate video showing you just how to reset the oil life back to 100%, because I know that's a big question. But let's get started with some of the supplies that you're going to need. Of course, the first thing is your oil. You're going to need 6 quarts of oil. You're going to want to get a 5W30. This is just the kind that I've got here. I actually happen to have an extra leftover quart, just regular oil, and then I got a synthetic blend. And another thing is, I know there's a lot of questions out there too, switching back and forth between synthetics and conventional motor oils. Not a big deal. In fact, I'm mixing them here, guys. It's not a big deal at all. You can swap back and forth as much as you like. Just make sure they're the same weight oil. You'll be just fine. So we've got our 6 quarts of oil here. And then the next thing that we're going to need, of course, is an oil filter. And this is an AC Delco part. I really like the AC Delco because I know they're pretty much OEM for GM. So this is the brand I trust right here. And this is the PF46E. Now, if you go to Walmart or an auto shop, they typically have those little machines that you can use that'll tell you which one you need. So you can run right up there, plug in what you've got, and find exactly what you need. So we've got the oil filter here. We're also going to need, for this model here, a 15mm either socket with a wrench or just a wrench here. So let's see, there's my 15, so we're going to get that out. You're also going to need some sort of oil filter wrench, which I've got right here. I've also got the ratchet with extension. And let's see if I can get it off by hand. I don't know if I can or not. You're going to need a funnel to put in your new oil, which I've got right here. And then if you really want to go the extra mile for cleanup, you can get you some sort of engine or carb choke cleaner that'll help you out, clean up any messes you might have, along with some napkins or paper towels. And then I've also got a microfiber cloth that you can see I use to change the oil with. And then the only other thing I can think you may need, I'm lucky enough that this sits high enough I can slide right under without issue. You may need some jack stands if you've got a 2-wheel drive, something that sits lower to the ground. But you may need a floor jack and some jack stands to get it up high enough to where you can get under there and work on it. Oh yeah, and another thing we will need also, something to catch our oil right here. All we got to do is unscrew this guy right here. Make sure this is popped up so the air can escape. And this will drain the oil down here, and you can see it's got a nice little spot where you can put your filter whenever you're ready. Okay, so let's get started. So the very first thing that I should mention is that I actually just got back from a fairly long trip. The oil's warmed up a little bit. It is kind of nice to have the oil a little bit warm to start with. It makes it drain a little bit better. But be warned, I mean, that oil is going to come out of there once you get under there. So, you know, don't burn your hands or anything. You may want to wear some sort of rubber gloves or something if you're worried about getting it on your hands. I'm not too worried. But it's had a little bit of a chance to cool down, so maybe it won't scald me too bad. Let's go ahead and push our oil pan under. I'm going to take my 15mm with me. I'm gonna crawl under here. Hopefully we don't need too much light, and I'm going to try to do this with one hand. But just scoot your oil pan up to where you need it. You can see right here, there is our oil filter, and here's our drain plug. So what we've got to do is we've just got to get set on this. Get to focus, there we go. We just got to get set on this, untighten it, and try to catch the oil. I'm going to try to do this with one hand. We'll see how I do. And you might watch out too the exhaust, catalytic converters, everything like that. It's going to be hot if you just ran it down the road. You're going to feel the heat off of it, so be careful. Okay, got it turned. So now it's pretty well broke loose. Let me switch hands here. And this is the trick right here, trying to catch it. So be ready, because it really comes out of there. There we go. Okay, so it's draining nicely now. And what we're going to do is actually take this. Let's go out here and clean it up a little while this drains out. And that little guy is still nice and hot. Okay, so we've got this out here. Let's take it over while that oil's draining and just kind of clean it up. You can even check the end here. Just make sure you don't have too much crud from your engine. Sometimes you'll see if it'll focus okay. You can see a little bit of crud on there. Just normal wear and tear, nothing to worry about. So let's get that cleaned up with one hand. Okay. So we've got our plug cleaned up. I don't see anything out of the norm here. Peel this little bit of rubber off here. It's got a little rubber gasket around it, keep it from leaking. So we've got that. I'm going to go ahead and grab our oil filter and our oil filter wrench, and my extension as well as my ratchet. We're going to go take a look and see how we're doing. Okay, so the oil is just about done draining out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my plug, put it right back in there, and just get it snug with my hands. There we go. Take my 15 millimeter, and then just tighten it. Not extremely tight, but just a little tighter than hand tight. You don't want to get it too much on there. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and take our oil filter off. So it looks like I'm not even going to need the extension, so I'm just going to use the wrench with the ratchet on it. Set it on there, then turn it off. If I can get it on there, these can be a little bit tricky. There we go. Okay, so I've got it on there. I'll try to get the ratchet on there. There we go. Okay. Be careful, because oil is going to come out the top of that. So be ready to catch it, especially if it's warm. So I'm just going to let that drain for just a minute, and we'll twist it the rest of the way off. We might be in decent shape now. Sorry, my hand's in the way, guys. Makes it a little harder to see. This thing will spin for just a little bit too. Be ready to catch it so you don't spill any oil on you. There we go, just like that. So I've got it down here now. Let that drain for just a little bit, and then we're going to hop out and grab our new oil filter. Okay, so I've got our new oil filter here. And what I'm going to do is actually get a little bit of old oil. You're going to see there's a little rubber gasket around the top. I'm going to get a little bit of old oil on my finger and run right around the top of that gasket in order to help it seal better, help prevent leaks and seal better. Okay, so we're just going to screw it right back on. Once you get started, it'll pretty well spin on there. So once you get it tight, just do this hand tight, guys. It doesn't need to really be wrenched on there. So I'd say go hand tight, and then maybe a quarter of a turn to a half of a turn. Okay, so I've got it on there. Let's go get some stuff to clean this up. Okay guys, so I'm back. I just ran in real quick to wash my hands, and something I did notice too, I was busy talking to you guys on the camera. You may do this if you're not paying attention. you may not set your oil pan in the right spot, so whenever it does finally slow down from draining the oil, you may not catch it all. So I've got a trick for that though that we can do once we get all cleaned up. But right now, since we've got the oil filter on and the plug back in, we don't have any oil in it. But what we're going to do first is go ahead and get under there, clean up a little bit on the engine. You don't have to do this step, but I just like to try to keep things nice and tidy. So I'm going to take my microfiber, or you can take your paper towels, and then a little bit of my cleaner here, crawl under, and we'll spray it on there and get it cleaned up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we'll get it looking a little bit better. Take this stuff, spray it right on there. Make sure you guys can see too. Harder than it looks. Okay, there we go. That stuff will really almost, you just have to spray it on there and then wipe it off. It does a great job. You can see where we kind of drip some oil right here. But that's no biggie. Like I say, once you spray that stuff on there, pretty well just wipes off clean. So now you can see we've got a nice clean filter up in there. The motor doesn't look too bad either. So let's get our stuff out from under here and start cleaning up. Okay, so here's the fun and easy part, actually adding oil to it. We're going to get under the hood, and right up here on the passenger side of the motor, you're going to see where it says engine oil, and it even tells you there the 5W30 in case you weren't aware. We're just going to loosen this up, pull the top off. There we go. I'm just going to set this up here where I won't forget it. Set my funnel down in there. And I may even, oh no, it's going to hold okay. Make sure the inside of your funnel's clean too, guys. You don't want that crap going into your engine. So I've got that down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my old quart over here. That way it's already open. Just go ahead and pour it right in there. They've got a nice little thing right here on this brand. You can see how much you got in there. So the left side's a quart. Let's turn it around. Go ahead and pour this in. Here's another little trick too. Instead of pouring like this, because it'll glug on you, turn it on its side and pour it like this. It'll come out a whole lot smoother. All right, so there's 1 quart. Okay, so I got the lid off. That was a bit of a job. Let's get it up here. Start pouring. Since I've just got one hand, I'm gonna pour it the way, whoops, told you guys not to. I chase this funnel around. There we go. Get my nice new oil everywhere. Let's see if we can do this a little better now. All right, so we've got our additional 5 quarts. And then if you want to clean up here too, guys, if you do a job like I do and spill it everywhere, you can, really it's not that bad. And I'm not even going to worry about it. Clean motor oil, it'll be fine. But you can take your rag and clean it up in here as well, and also some of your cleaner and clean it up. But otherwise I'm happy. So we're all drained out here. And I actually saved these and put my old oil back in it, so you can take it and recycle it. I'm gonna take my cap, put it back on. Now we've got fresh oil in the engine. And one more time, I'm gonna go clean my hands up real quick. Then I'll show you how to reset that oil life meter. So let's go around to the driver's side of the pickup. Watch out for my tools on the ground there. I'll climb in. I'll close the door so you guys don't have to listen to that racket. But what we got to do is we got to turn our key to the accessory position, and within 5 seconds, press down the gas pedal all the way to the floor 3 times. There we go, and it'll say change engine oil. Oil life reset. And then we've got engine oil life 100%. So now what I'm going to do is just turn it on. Make sure you don't hear any awful knocks or anything like that. Make sure we've got good oil pressure. We sure do. Things are looking good here, guys. So I'm just going to let it run for about 15 seconds or so. Then what we can do is turn it off, hop out. Take me a cloth here or something. And we're going to come over here to the engine oil dipstick, the one in yellow right here. And we'll pull it out. And what you're looking for is wipe it off the first time. But you're going to see tick marks on there. There's 5 of them. You want to be on that 3rd one. Okay. So, yep, we are there, guys. Okay, so we'll put this back in here. And then I won't bore you guys with it moving the pickup. I was going to tell you too about that bit of oil we got under there. What I'm going to do after this video here is move my oil pan, and that oil that I got everywhere down there, if you just take you some kitty litter and just buy the cheap stuff, it doesn't matter, and set it on top of that stuff and then crush it up with your feet. Wear some old boots or something to do that, but crush it up with your feet and then just sweep it up, and it'll absorb that oil, I mean, really good. So that's a good way to get rid of the oil spot in your driveway if you goof up like I do. I know I'm clumsy and it was hard to do with one hand. So anyways, that's our oil change. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. Appreciate you watching.